Welcome to the second edition of World Cashew Convention. I am Chandana Shiv, and today with me I have the Executive Director of ACI, Ms. Rita Weidinger. Welcome to WCC, ma'am.
Thank you.
What are the initiatives taken by ACI in tackling various problems of African cashew value chain?
The African Cashew Initiative, which is a public-private partnership, so we have private companies contributing to the development of the sector as well as governments. And the funders are the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, German government on one side, but also companies like Intersnack, Olam, Walmart, and Trade and Development Group, etc. So if I talk here, I talk also on their behalf. And the challenges in the cashew sector are multiple, and probably one of the major is it's a new crop for Africa.
Right.
So there's a low productivity. There is also little knowledge about how to plant, how to increase the production, how to increase quality. Varieties are not really available, good planting material. And then on the processing side, where we only process currently 10% of the raw cashew nuts in Africa, there's hardly any knowledge about the infrastructure. Few companies have started investing, but I know also with your good work, many more will be investing in Africa.
Surely, ma'am. That's an assurance from us.
Yes.
We know that the African cashew sector consists of 22% of the women in the value chain. Can you just tell the initiatives taken by ACI for the empowerment of women?
Actually, women are a very, very important factor for the cashew sector. Although hardly any own farms on themselves, but some are owning in families, but they are the backbone in the labor side. If it comes to harvest, it's often the women taking the larger share. And some they get even a share of the cashew nuts then to sell. So when we even look at the trading aspects, we neglect their importance there. They sell often in small quantities at the markets, as many as they need for paying the daily needs for the food. Because cashew also comes in a hungry season in Africa, so where there's no other food available. So they go to the market, sell a few cashew nuts, and buy their daily needs like oil and salt and whatever. Also, school fees are often paid by the women then at this time, and they go to the farms, harvest. Currently, a lot is also in forest type planting, especially like Côte d'Ivoire or Benin, where it was planted by forestry services for soil conservation. So it's not yet really owned by all the farms are not yet owned by individuals, and that's where the women going to harvest are playing an essential role. If it comes to processing, we all know this is where the women are best at. They are more diligent, they are better in cracking the nuts even, although it's often a hard work when it is in standing, but gradually with improved technology also they get better and cleaner workplaces in the processing companies. So we do see cashew really carried by women, but they don't get yet the appreciation as they deserve. So our initiative works both on training women, also for farming side or in post-harvest, because they are the ones who separate the nuts from the apples. And here we talk about the apple also, which is often owned by the women. So in Burkina Faso, for instance, the women sell the cashew apples on the market, and this is all their income. So if we look now on added value for the cashew apple, this will be purely women. And that's where we try to also encourage them to do more. Another activity which we train more women than men is for the grafting. and the success rate of grafting is much higher when women do it than when men do it.
Oh.
So some of our best grafters are women.
Women. Great to know that.
And I think we all are examples of women promotion in the sector.
Right. And can you elaborate about the ACI matching fund, ma'am?
The matching fund is an instrument where we want to attract more private companies also to engage in development work. At the end, whether it's a trader or a processor or a buyer abroad, they all benefit of better quality of cashew nuts. And if a farmer has more nuts, they will continue to produce. So for the success and the sustainability of the sector, we all have to engage. So we have an incentive for companies who are willing to do farmer training or who are willing to also put up warehouses for farmers, drying floors in the communities, that we can match their investment. They invest 60%, including their employment, their staff, and we support with 40% of the cost. We do the same also for governments because we also want to attract governments to engage more. And there we have the similar incentive for improved planting material, for instance, so that we get more government engagement in research and improved planting material. And here we do a 50-50 cost share. And actually the demands are much higher than we have funding currently, but we do have also other partners who want to engage, for instance the Dutch Sustainability Initiative, IDH, as well as the European community, which also wants to engage now in the cashew sector, and then we can do many more projects. Currently we have 27 projects which will be ending this year, and we hope we can open another call and get many more going on.
All the best on that, ma'am.
Thank you.
And coming to the public partner privateship, that how well is it successful in Africa, ma'am? How different is the response when you just meet the public people, and how is it different when you meet the private people?
I'm very much convinced that public-private partnership is the way to do a sustainable development. If public does it alone, they want to engage in putting even up public factories and then lease them out to private. It has never worked nowhere in the world. If private alone try to develop all, they forget the basic education stuff. They don't look at women promotion. It's none of their goals to do a broader development work. Then infrastructure development. If a private has to do it all by themselves, if there's no government support, it's very heavy also to develop a sector. And looking at cashew specifically, as it is such a young sector, we need both to talk together and to learn from each other. We have very good examples, for instance, in Côte d'Ivoire, where the new cashew board, Conseil Cotonou-Anacad, who has in their administration already public and private entities, and they engage actively also with traders, with buyers, to learn what is needed to have a long-term development. So when they set the price, they concert very well with world market. They don't just fix it for Côte d'Ivoire alone. So this is, for instance, an example which really shows the success of it. Another is also infrastructure development, warehouses. Where are they located? Rural access roads. We need governments to also support there for a successful trading and processing at the end.
And what is the role played by the agencies and government in the activities of ACI?
Actually, initially when we started in 2009, governments were very silent. Cashew was not seen as a priority in their countries. They were hardly having specific programs. They did not have institutes or agencies dedicated to it, with the exception of Mozambique. Gradually then it took more importance And to date, we would say all the governments we do work with in the 5 countries, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Mozambique, all have dedicated either agencies or at least personnel for the sector. They all have started looking at regulatory aspects, strategies to develop the sector, and are elaborating policies. So for us it is important that it is a private sector-led development, that it is not government who has the first drive on it, because they also could strangulate it. And we have seen countries, I don't want to name them here, who have over-regulated the sector and then had actually faced a sharp decline in production. So it's important they go on a very private sector-oriented framework and policy development. And this is where we have a close exchange. We share best practices. What we see currently in Côte d'Ivoire is definitely a role model for us. We try to promote similar developments in other countries and engage actively with them. So we have some government officials who have undergone training aspects, so they understand the sector better, and they come for sector meetings. There will be an initiative driven by the Ivorian government now to get all governments in cashew producing countries together at the next Council of Ministers in Dakar in April, to show the importance and the potentials of cashew production and processing in their countries.
What are the achievements of ACI in 2015 and what are your goals for 2016?
Thank you. I can proudly say that with this large partnership we really have now seen more than 400,000 farmers trained, having doubled the income from cashew. So we talk here about an income of about $600 additionally per family, which definitely can pay for 2 children, well, the school fees. We have seen processing companies increasing their efficiency, although they still struggle with the availability of raw cashew nuts as the competition is high. We value that as a good sign. High competition also brings a further development of the sector. Our goals for 2016 are also to continue that work in the 5 countries. We have a commitment from the German government with another 8 million euro. And we have an oral commitment from European Union and the African, Caribbean, Pacific Secretariat also to engage even African-wide and some Caribbean countries. So cashew will remain a topic for us, and we hope we can continue to support the sector and the whole industry, that it is a long-term income for farmers, processors, traders, and everybody who has a share in it.
Thank you so much.